Welcome back to the Traders Network Show and our continued coverage of Humanity 2.0. I'm Matt Bird, broadcasting worldwide from the Vatican for equities.com and our affiliate partners. My next guest is the director of Forbes Impact, Brendan Doherty. Brendan, welcome to the show.
Matt, thanks for having me, man.
Pleasure's all mine. So be my eyes and ears a little bit. We've been out here on the street doing one-on-one interviews, and meanwhile, there's a lot of stuff going on inside at the event. We've seen, I think the president of Malta, she did an address in there. We saw Matt Sanders. He did the opening remarks. There's been some stuff in between. Kind of give us a little bit of
the flavor.
The flavor, what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is that whenever you say you're going to the Vatican to bring folks together, like it's magnetic, right?
Right.
Like, so I mean, I reached out. I brought a couple folks with me here as well from a lot of different backgrounds, and I think that's the starting point in many ways. Is people arrive here and feel like there's something heady, like there's this ability, this cultural power that's like behind it all, that's helping give it lift. And then when you take that baseline, like that's the baseline, right? Like it's not like we're in like a Hilton in the middle of in the middle of like Fresno. I like Hiltons and I like Fresno, but the idea is like we're here where history, is the depth is there.
Well, I mean, look where we're standing right now. This is the courtyard, but this is where kings, queens, knights of Round Table, this is where they rest in peace. It's a pretty historic thing, but as somebody who's never been to Rome before, I look at the buildings and it's like these buildings were built for a purpose. I mean, it's pretty substantial stuff, but so I get what you're saying. Let's tie it back to what's going on inside. What's
So I think what's happening is, I've been told, I've been working with the Vatican now for a couple of years, and what they'll sometimes say is the Vatican works on a timeline of infinity. That kind of timeline is both deep and meaningful, and it puts value and long-term goals in perspective, but it also means like it can be sluggish, right? Or it can be like rooted in ideas or in practices that don't reflect the values of today. What Humanity 2.0 I think is trying to do is accelerate some of that.
Bridge that gap.
Bridge it, disrupt it even actually, like disrupt it like my pink collar is, right? I mean, like this idea is.
I like it. I like the color.
This idea is that you can have an institution that has all of the weight and gravitas and credibility and values that come with authority that are rooted in it.
Yep.
But then layer on top of it, how do we solve problems of today with folks that are maybe more diverse than is often associated with with the Vatican. So I think that's what's special that's happening there. They're bringing together a much more dynamic group of people who are saying we face some pretty urgent challenges today. Let's use this platform, but project forward.
I've been fortunate to have met a bunch of the guests and speakers that are that have spoken and will be speaking, and I can say that there seems to be a symbiotic relationship with all the influencers that are here in the room. Everybody has their own impact initiatives and goals. And I think together as a melting pot, there's a stronger foundation. The things you're doing at Forbes Impact, how does that tie into Humanity 2.0 and some of the things you're focused on?
Look, I think media narratives are what shape our global narratives, are what shape our economy. In many ways, I think cultural capital is what I would call it. Sits above the economy, right? It influences our behaviors, our attitudes. At Forbes, what I found was there's this extraordinary platform. Again, like for a company, it's a 100-year-old company, right? I mean, very few companies, last 15 years, 20 years. This is a 100-year-old company that made the shift from print to digital, didn't just survive, but thrive. They hit about 70 million people online a month, of which nearly a half are women. About a third are millennial business owners. So the demographics that Forbes is able to reach from a business leadership standpoint, but also from a diversity standpoint, is more than, when I first got involved, I sort of pictured, my grandfather and a mahogany desk in the corner suite and a little, printed magazine on top.
Right.
It couldn't be more different today, right? So,
well, Forbes has certainly reinvented itself in a way that it's rivaled all the other publishers out there. Most of them struggling. Wall Street Journal's doing a good job, but they still have a really solid traditional, paper base. But I got to tell you, I'm a fan of Forbes. I follow it myself. I've had partnerships with Forbes in the past, and I think the content is bar none. It's substantial, and it's great to see millennials embracing that legacy content and that legacy perspective on the financial capital markets, which we're not seeing that direct correlation translation to other networks.
And that's what I think Forbes Impact really has become a nexus for, which is that it's really the intersection of culture and capital, and aligning that around solving some of these bigger challenges in the world. And for a millennial, it's kind of like standard operating procedure, right? It's like, hey, yeah, of course we're going to align my values with my dollars with the kind of work I want to do, and it means I hop around to a job every 2 years.
Right, exactly. Well, at least it's not for us, but I tell you what. Listen, we got to wrap this up. We got a commercial break coming in. You got a panel that you're going to be on a little later.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So this one's all about business and ethics, right? It's about how do you create a layer of ethics that for CEOs, for business leaders, for entrepreneurs, just like you'd hire a McKinsey to come in and help you figure out your growth strategy, why not have an ethics consultancy that also comes in and aligns yourself with that, so that your company can help not just drive profit, which it needs to do, but also drive movement around bringing folks out of the shadows of our economy, about making it more inclusive, about reflecting the values of today.
And I guess in Forbes terminology, we're talking about triple bottom line.
Yeah, triple bottom line, aligning values with capital.
I love it. Everybody, Brennan Doherty, the director of Forbes Impact, right?
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're going to cut to commercial break. We'll be back with our next guest. You're not going to want to miss that. Don't go away.
The 2019 Humanity 2.0 Forum is brought to you by Cisco Systems, CSR solutions that are accelerating global problem solvings in ways that have never been attempted before, to Ulala, providing mobile blockchain solutions for the unbanked, and to Pledge Camp, the next generation of crowdfunding. A special thanks to Tonico in Vatican City for hosting our program. And lastly, special consideration to Burst IQ, a leader in healthcare and blockchain, to Crown Sterling, the leader in digital sovereignty and quantum encryption, to Dignity Health, delivering high quality and affordable healthcare for all. And lastly, to Falcon Ventures, as transformative as our entrepreneurs. And thank you, 1-800 Public Relations, for all your PR and media support. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away.